Inflation is the centerpiece of all conversations today. But what can small business owners do to combat inflation? This week is a humdinger. I'm actually going to be taking a break next week to spend time with family. So I'm going to give you a lot to chew on until we connect again after the Thanksgiving holidays. So today I have 5 strategies that small business owners can utilize to say put more money into their pockets and bring home to their families and also create value. So you can read about it on the blog. Also, I can't cover every single thing, but as a small business owner myself, as well as an investor in commercial real estate, I would be happy to sit down or have a call with you to discuss any of these points in greater detail. So first and foremost, adjust workforce spending. Your employees are an invaluable investment for you and your company. However, there are ways to utilize local schools and colleges, as well as in Orlando, we have a workforce office where we can get grants to utilize folks from there. There's lots of opportunities. So wherever you are, look at that and capitalize upon that. If your team has been doing more with less, reward them. However, look at perhaps doing bonuses tied to performance and them getting certain objectives done as a lump sum rather than increasing their salary or hourly rate. If you do an analysis, you'll find in the end that will cost you less in the overall term because you don't have compounding acceleration of that. Number 2, focus on your revenue and growth. Even me personally, I have valuable services to deliver out to the marketplace. However, not everybody understands the value and why we price things the way we are. I have to do a better job as a business owner of doing that. So take a look at whether you can raise your prices or not. Look at what the competition is doing. Look at the uniquenesses of your offerings. Make sure you're describing everything you do in possibility. Make sure people know that you are not a commodity and what is so different about your business versus others. And again, invest in your process so that customers understand that. This is where I come in. Eliminate your commercial real estate expenses. So get a mark-to-market study done of your commercial real estate lease if you have one, or also you may have a portfolio of commercial real estate leases if you are a tenant in multiple locations. There are lots of other opportunities to maybe renegotiate with landlords, deploy other strategies to save money on that. If you own the commercial real estate, get an idea of where your value is. Perhaps you could do a refinance. Perhaps your space is not set up for success and you could maybe sell that asset, get into something else and get into something better for your business. There are so many different things you can do. So, but first of all, if you're going to sell your house, would you sell your house without having an analysis of where you stood? Absolutely not. Why would you do that with commercial real estate? So know where you stand. If not me, go to someone else that's dominates in your market for what you do. Decrease your operational cost. So, your vendors are probably just as concerned about their revenue and its expenses as you are. However, if you're saving all this extra money with all the other things I told you to do or asked you to consider doing, why don't you take and see if maybe you prepay for the year? You can lower your overall rate. Also, make sure you understand your expenses, have regular financial meetings. And so then you really understand what you're spending money on and do you really need it? Is there a system that you already have that can do it? For instance, I had a system I was utilizing for task management. And I was probably spending $7,000 a year on it. I figured out if I bring in a programmer, I can already use a system that I have and spend $700 on that once and then utilize what I already have. And my employees are going to be more happy because they're not having to be in multiple systems. And I'm happy because in the long term, I'm spending less money. Take a look at it. Take some time. How about you get money in your pocket quicker? why don't you look at getting a deposit from your clients? Or if you are still mailing out invoices, how I do have people that still mail me invoices. This local taxing office, oh, oops, sorry, sorry, being nameless, they're still mailing them to me. Look at emailing them. Now even my city for my business license emails it to me. It has online portals. Save the money. That's going to decrease your operational costs. It's never been easier to automate your accounts receivable. So, and also maybe you have clients that you do a lot of work for. How about you provide them incentives or discounts? Even me in commercial real estate, did you know I take credit card? I know people like to take points. Why don't, for me, I'm happy to, spend the fee on that, accelerate my accounts receivable, get my agents paid quicker, and maybe my clients can take a vacation on my dime. That's fine with me. And then wherever you can, take deposits against future work. So these are all things that you can look at. Of course, every situation is different. And if you'd ever like to talk about this, I'd be happy to do that. But let's not just talk and complain about inflation. It's here. We're in an inflationary environment. It is what it is. However, there are things you can't control what goes on around you, but you can control what you do. So take some action, tighten it up, but don't do a slash and burn. That is the most silly thing that you could do. You have to make intentional, wise decisions and be a calculated leader for your company. So have a great week, and I will catch up with you after Thanksgiving.